Yumi Bami Caleb, 31, Ops engineer. Steady voice, phone that never stops rattling like it's alive. Renting a tiny one-bedroom in a complex built out of paper and regrets. Thin walls, neighbors screaming at 2 a.m. My dinner is silent, microwave food. My mornings are early alarms and caffeine. Job lives right where software hits the real world. Warehouse systems, drivers, barcode scanners, routing schedules, late fees and penalty reports. Most nights, I'm basically a babysitter for integrations, catching incidents before they become a company-wide "why is Twitter angry" moment, survive on checklists. Because if I don't, exhaustion turns my brain into oatmeal. Monday morning shows up like a punch. New email. Subject line: emotional safety standards, update. Already want to delete it. Open it anyway because rent doesn't pay itself. Body of the email is a corporate hostage note. Mandatory training modules, mandatory survey forms, mandatory language calibration, sessions. It keeps going. New section introduces a name I've never heard before. Tamsin. Title: People Experience and Equity. Welcome note has emojis sprinkled in like seasoning. Words like harm, accountability, holding space, with little smiley faces next to them. One sentence jumps out. Something about masculine urgency, creating unsafe environments. Cool attachment is a cheerful PDF listing consequences in friendly fonts. Miscalibration, all. Lose access to incident channels. Lose access to incident channels. Y'all can't do my job. My stomach drops. No dramatic music needed. Get to the office. Fresh posters everywhere. Safe communication. Belonging. Assume impact. Every hallway looks like a therapy waiting room. Coworkers glance at the posters. Polite smiles. Dead eyes. Small talk. Sounds weird now. Like everyone's practicing lines for a play. They hate being in. Sit at my desk. Open dashboards. Try to dissolve into the glow of my monitors. Check on call calendar. My name is on tonight again. Of course it is. Rent's due soon. So I tell myself the same thing I always do. Keep your head down. Don't be interesting. All hands meeting starts. Camera on. Nod along like a bobblehead. And there she is. Tamsin. Soft voice like she's reading bedtime stories about guilt. Talking about harm like she's holding a scalpel. Slides come up. Examples are these vague scenarios. One has a shadowy male silhouette looming over someone smaller. She promises safety will be measurable and enforceable. Now, manager, Hollis is nodding hard. His eyes are doing the silent begging thing. Please just cooperate. Please don't make trouble. Chat fills up with clap emojis, like an applause track nobody wants, but everyone has to play. My pager buzzes. Mute myself. Check alerts under the desk like a kid texting in class. Something spiking but not full meltdown yet. Back to the meeting. Tamsin says something about rapid responses can signal dismissal. Irony hits like a bad taste in my mouth. My entire job is replying fast when systems are burning down. Meeting ends. I exhale, thinking it'll fade into background corporate noise like everything else. Immediately get a DM from Tamsin. She wants a one-on-one today. Message says, she noticed my body language on camera was closed and resistant. Guest posture is evidence now. I accept the invite, swallow whatever pride I still have. Walk into one of those glass fishbowl rooms. She's already there with a notebook and a smile she's clearly practiced. Smile never reaches her eyes. I sit carefully, keep my hands visible like I'm in an interrogation. She starts with, "How do you feel about your relationship with vulnerability at work?" "What does that even mean?" I answer. Slow say I focus on clarity during incidents and emergencies. Her pen stops mid-scratch. She looks up and goes, "Clarity can be a mask for control. Cool, just straight to the insult. Feel my face tighten, force it to loosen. Ask what success would look like here." She tilts her head like I'm a difficult toddler. Success is making others feel safe, then keeps going. Men often confuse efficiency with entitlement to direct others. I keep my voice even, ask if she means my role or my gender. Her smile gets wider, and she says my question is centering my comfort. My ears get hot. Leave the room with my patience shredded and my face burning. Back at my desk. New calendar. Invite drops right across my on-call window. Title, Tone Coaching Session Required. Subtitle, No Reschedules Permitted. Time slot overlaps the exact window our nightly batch jobs love to fail. Send Tamsin a polite message. Explain, I'm on call tonight and responsible. She replies fast. Safety work outranks convenience and discomfort. Last line says, my pushback fits a common defensive pattern. Sit there staring at the screen. Realize she can write literally anything into my file, and nobody will question it. Go to the kitchen for water. Practice calm sentences in my head, like drills. Phone buzzes again. Client integration starts lagging in production. Dashboards open. Queue error percentage climbs, like water behind a dam. Jump into incident chat. Ask for help. Assign quick tasks. Short, direct, clean. 2 responders join. We coordinate fixes in clipped messages. Graphs start stabilizing. Relief hits for like 5 seconds. Then another email arrives. Subject, safety concern reported, incident communication. Open it. Complaint says, my tone felt cold and unsafe. The evidence is literally my message. Please restart the connector. I stare at it. No insults, no swearing, no personal attacks, just instructions. Apparently brevity is now a microaggression against emotional labor. Disbelief hits first, like, this can't be real. Forward the email to Hollis with a short, heads up. This is happening. Explanation. Hollis calls me. Voice sounds exhausted, like he's already lost the argument in his head. Tells me I need to cooperate. Says leadership is fully behind people experience. Like he's reading a company scripture. I ask him what I did wrong. He pauses, then goes, feelings are subjective, man. Just adapt. Call ends, and it clicks. My manager isn't going to stick his neck out for me, not even an inch. Drive home with both hands on the wheel, gripping it way harder than necessary, jaw clenched, radio off, just road noise and my own thoughts chewing on me. Get back to my apartment, heat up leftovers I barely taste. Try to cram in sleep before the pager inevitably screams. It doesn't even wait long. Alert drags me out of bed. I shuffle to the laptop like a haunted Roomba. Eyes gritty, brain still booting. It's a small failure, easy fix, 5 minutes, and it's patched. But now I'm wide awake, and all I can think about is that stupid coaching session in the morning. Morning comes, log into the tone coaching thing. Keep my voice gentle, slow down my words on purpose like I'm talking to a nervous animal. Coach is some guy I've never met. Reads straight off a script. Masculine urgency, unintended harm, impact over intent. They talk about urgency like it's a moral defect. Almost laugh, have to bite it back, nod at the right times, make the right sounds, promise I'll add warmth, promise I'll soften directives, say I'll invite collaboration, basically pledge to put pillows around reality as soon as it ends. Email lands from Tamsin, thanks me for my growth and humility, like she's grading a child's behavior chart. Then she keeps going, schedules a team workshop and another calibration exercise. Attachment included, prohibited phrases matrix. Open it, it's insane. Words like actually, obviously, and just are flagged as harmful. Even quick question gets a yellow warning. Incident response templates are labeled overly directive. Stomach sinks quietly. Because my whole job is directive. The workshop day arrives. We're all in a meeting room on camera, set up like a Circle T group therapy vibes. Except nobody asked for therapy, Tamsin runs it like a priest, praises vulnerability, punishes dissent. With this bright little smile, rules go up on a slide, no interrupting, no strong statements, no absolute language, no confident tone when she says confident. Her eyes flick toward the guys in the room. Real quick, real deliberate. I do what I'm supposed to. Talk less, type more carefully, wrap every fact in soft foam words. Maybe, it seems like, I'm wondering if we could consider response time gets slower. Incident acknowledgements slip by whole minutes. You can feel the delay like thick air. Then a client pings us, says our reaction windows are getting worse. mentions penalties, real money, real consequences. I forward it to Hollis, suggest we prioritize speed during incidents or we're going to get hammered. Hollis just sighs, says values come first, says we'll adapt. Anger shoots up my spine. I swallow it, because bills don't care about my principles. Later that week, anonymous safety survey hits the inbox. I answer as neutral as humanly possible, bland, boring, nothing to grab onto. Submit it, thinking it'll become another spreadsheet. Nobody reads. Few days pass. Team-wide email goes out celebrating improved safety outcomes. There's a chart. Our team magically jumps to a perfect score. Perfect, like we cured communication forever. I stare at it. Office mood doesn't match that chart at all. Everyone looks more tense, not less. So the numbers feel like fiction with a company logo. Tamsin adds a little praise paragraph. Thanks everyone for confronting harmful patterns. Chat fills with applause emojis again. Compliance theater. Same as always. Next day. Another complaint. This one isn't even about my words. It's about my face. Someone reports I smirked during a discussion about women's burdens at work. I wasn't smirking. I was staring at logs because a service was degrading. Apparently focus can be rebranded as cruelty. So I go quieter, smaller, less visible. I schedule time with Hollis. Tell him I need clear criteria, concrete examples. What am I allowed to do? What am I not allowed to do? Hollis gives me the dead answer. Criteria are flexible because safety is personal. And that's the moment the trap fully snaps shut in my head. Flexible means unlimited, means they can call anything harm whenever they feel like it. Open my notebook, start logging everything, dates, messages, exact wording, screenshots, receipts. It feels paranoid, but paranoia starts to feel like insurance is that afternoon. Tamsin invites me to a leadership accountability circle. Attendee list is insane. Executives, directors, people I barely know. Names I only see on org charts. I show up anyway. Walk in. Chairs are arranged in a ring. Friendly little circle. Looks like a support group. Feels like an interrogation with better lighting. Tamsin starts it off. Asks for volunteers to confess harmful communication habits. Silence. Then eyes drift toward me, one by one. Pressure fills the room like heat rising. I speak carefully. Admit I prioritize speed and clarity during emergencies. Tamsin nods like she's been waiting for it. Speed often overrides boundaries and creates fear. Cheeks burn, but I keep my voice soft, apologetic, non-threatening. Then she hits me with the next prompt. Asks me to name who I harmed, specifically, out loud, in front of everyone. Public shaming with a nicer font. I refuse, calmly, no attitude, no volume, just, I'm not comfortable naming individuals in a group setting. Her eyebrows lift, and she labels it resistance. Resistance to accountability. Room shifts. People suddenly find the carpet fascinating. Coworkers avoid eye contact like I'm contagious. Walk out of that accountability circle, trying to act normal, like my shirt isn't soaked in stress sweat. Less than an hour later. HR request hits my inbox. Subject line looks innocent. Attachment is a behavioral improvement plan with a big fat countdown clock, 75 days. The kind of number that's supposed to feel fair while they sharpen the knife. Goals are pure vibes, increase demonstrated empathy, reduce dominant communication, proactively practice allyship, no examples, no baselines, no way to measure any of it. But somehow they'll know when I fail. There's a warning box at the bottom. Any new signal will trigger immediate escalation and separation. Separation, polite font. Violent meaning. Stare at it long enough and the purpose becomes obvious. This isn't improvement. It's a termination script with nicer spacing. I reply with corporate politeness. Say, I'll comply. Say I want concrete examples so I can meet expectations. Add one extra line, requesting all expectations and feedback. Be confirmed in writing going forward. Because I'm done with verbal vibes. Tamsin replies. Fast says my request for structure can be a form of control. Of course it can. She says safety can't be reduced to spreadsheets and checkboxes, like I'm asking her to do. Taxes. I copy her exact words into my notebook log. timestamp it. Then I keep my response short, calm, dry, no hooks. Later that day I check payroll, quarterly bonus, withheld. Reason listed as values misalignment, just like that. Stare at the number that isn't there. Do the math anyway. Rent, groceries, car note, student loan, auto draft. The math says quitting is a luxury item. It lands like a gut punch. Because now even my escape hatch has a price tag. Eat dinner alone tastes like TV static and microwave sadness. Sit there wondering who else is getting crushed quietly. Remember my dad's old advice from back when he actually gave advice. Write everything down. Always. So I keep writing. Next shift schedule drops. And suddenly I'm on grim overnight coverage more than usual. No explanation, no discussion, just dumped into the dark hours. Projects I was on quietly vanish from my queue. New tickets stop coming my way. All I get is cleanup work, toil, fix other people's messes. Meanwhile, whispers start, not loud, not direct, just that subtle office fog. And the word unsafe starts sticking to me like a smell you can't wash off. Tamsin starts roaming the floor more, smiling like she owns the oxygen in the building, greeting people by first name, teacher voice, hand on shoulder here and there. She stops at my desk, tells me she appreciates my willingness to learn. I smile back, nod, because if I don't, the wrong facial muscle becomes a new signal. Every message I send starts feeling like diffusing a bomb, but the bomb is wrapped in polite emojis. Clients start getting louder because response times are worse, and delayed acknowledgments make them panic. They're not wrong. Another warning comes in from a client contact, service credits, fines, real money again. I forward it to Hollis. Suggest we protect on-call windows from mandatory meetings. Just basic operational common sense. Hollis replies, with one line, don't challenge people experience right now. Fear practically dripping off the words. Facts have stopped mattering to him that evening. Sloan from analytics pings me. Careful little, hey, quick question? Then she asks if I've noticed survey numbers shifting in weird ways. I answer carefully, say, yeah. Graphs look like fantasy compared to how everyone actually feels. Typing bubble pops up, then disappears. She finally writes, I can't talk about it in chat. Next message comes right after. Asks if I can meet by the coffee area for a minute. We meet like we're doing a drug deal. Her voice low, eyes scanning the hallway between sentences. She tells me she pulled survey exports, and the numbers show manual edits after the survey's closed. Her hands are slightly shaking, because apparently noticing math is now dangerous. I tell her, I'll be discreet. Ask if she can get anything with audit fields, something I could take to compliance without it looking like gossip. She hesitates, then nods, says she can pull an export that shows who touched what and when. I head back to my desk, and another client notice lands like a weight. Seasonal surge window starts next week. Holiday traffic, big volume, everything fragile. Check the schedule. I'm primary on call during the peak. Of course I am. Dread hits immediately, because now I can see the timing trick coming, and right on cue, calendar invite drops. Empathy circle, mandatory attendance. Guess what time it's scheduled for? Right on top of the surge risk window. Perfect overlap. Couldn't be more perfect if it was engineered, I reply immediately. Calm tone. State. I'm on call and responsible for production during that window. Ask her to confirm, in writing, that she wants me away from incidents. Her response is instant. Attendance is required for safety outcomes. No mention of production, no acknowledgement of risk, just required. I save the email, drop it into my log, put a big star next to it, then I prep anyway. Runbook open, alerts tuned, backups checked, everything staged so I can move fast if things go sideways. Empathy circle starts, conference room again, and I keep my laptop closed like it's contraband. Tamsin stands in the middle of the circle, smiling like a judge about to read a sentence. She starts talking about holding space, then says it out loud, men need to hold space instead of fixing. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I ignore it for 30 seconds, and I hate myself. The entire 30 seconds of buzzing doesn't stop. I can feel the vibration like a warning siren against my thigh. I peek at the screen, Error rates spiking hard. Production is slipping. I raise my hand, voice still soft. Say we have a live failure and I need to respond. Tamsin shakes her head, says leaving would be prioritizing systems over people. I stand anyway. Because when systems fail, people get dragged into calls, people miss deadlines, people lose jobs, walk out, fast, basically jog back to my desk. Incident tools already loading as I sit down, failures spreading across services like mold, bridge call, opens owners assigned, no room for softness, no time for, I'm wondering if we could consider. Start firing off short. Direct commands, restart this, roll back that, disable the bad deploy. 20 brutal minutes later, we find the root cause, fix lands, metrics stabilize. It feels like doing CPR and finally getting a heartbeat back. My hands are shaking when it's over. And right as the adrenaline drops, email hits my inbox from Tamsin. Says I disrupted a safe space, says I enacted harm by walking out. She CC'd leadership. My stomach turns to ice. I reply one time. Attach her earlier email where she flat out said attendance was required. Point out, in plain words, that her mandate created client risk and penalty exposure. Hit send. And the second it's gone, I know I just stepped over a line I can't step back behind. Couple hours later, Hollis calls. He's angry and scared at the same time, like a guy yelling because he's drowning. He says leadership is upset, not about the outage, about optics, about escalation. He starts blaming my attitude. I remind him, I warned everyone in writing. He snaps that I need to stop documenting like a lawyer and just trust the process. Trust to say it like it's a warm blanket. Call ends. And trust feels like a melted cable that used to carry power and now just stinks. I open a doc. Clean timeline. Invites, emails, outage start time, outage end time, who said what, when they said it. I make it boring on purpose. Dates and facts, no feelings. Then I copy everything off the company network, because caution isn't paranoia anymore. It's basically breathing. Sleep is ugly. Half dreams where email threads chase me down hallways. Subject lines like jump scares, wake up with my jaw clenched so hard it hurts. Morning brings another complaint. Anonymous team safety concern. The wording is familiar, same rare phrases, same weird cadence about power dynamics and emotional risk. It matches the earlier ones too perfectly, like someone's copying from a template. Suspicion stops being a vibe. It turns solid. I send a neutral meeting request to compliance, ask for time with a guy named Marcus in ethics. Keep it sterile, risk exposure, client penalties, potential liability, no accusations, no drama. Marcus replies with 20 minutes today. That message feels like oxygen hitting my lungs. His office is quiet and weirdly organized. Binders, labels, no motivational posters. It's calming in a sick way. I sit down and slide him the email where Tamsin forced me off. Incident response. Hand over the timeline. Explain the surge risk window. The penalties. The pressure. Marcus doesn't react with emotions. His face stays flat, but his eyes sharpen when he hits the dates. He asks for evidence. Not vibes. Not intent. Evidence. I tell him there's a pattern, and someone on analytics is pulling audit exports. He nods once, says, bring technical artifacts, not interpretations. I leave feeling lighter than I have in weeks, because someone finally speaks in a language I understand. Then my inbox pings again. Tamsin wants another one-on-one, marked urgent. I accept, because refusing is just another signal. I walk into the glass room. She sits way too close, speaks too softly. Like the quieter she is, the more dangerous it gets. She says, leadership wants resolution before things escalate. And then she slides a form across the table. Resignation and paperwork. Right there, like it's a menu option. She says, if I resign quietly, they can provide a neutral reference. No drama, no issues. I ask for the terms in writing, because words are slippery and paper isn't. Her smile twitches, just for a second. Then she says, my legalism is proof of toxic intent. I repeat the request, same tone, calm, boring, like I'm asking for a receipt at a gas station. She inhales through her nose, tight, says she'll email details soon. That evening her email arrives, polite sentences with teeth behind them. One line stands out like a thread in a cardigan. She says she can't guarantee the volume of complaints will decrease otherwise, like she controls the faucet and wants me to notice. I save it. Then I forward it to Marcus with a short note. Tell him it reads like coercion tied to a complaint stream. Someone's managing. Marcus replies fast. Do not engage further. Preserve everything. I close the laptop. Eat an actual meal for once, because surviving still counts as a task. Next day Sloane messages me, not through work chat, through a personal transfer method, like we're smuggling state secrets. She sends a file, survey export, hidden fields, timestamps, audit columns. I open it and my stomach flips. Multiple responses edited after submissions closed, not cleaned, edited. And the editor role isn't analytics. It's HR admin. The edit times cluster right after my biggest complaints hit my inbox, like clockwork. This is the missing piece, and for the first time in weeks, my hands stop shaking for a full minute. I send Sloane a quiet, thank you. Don't ask questions. Don't push her. She's already taking a risk just breathing near this. I package everything for Marcus, clean labels, dates, timeline, emails, complaint texts, survey audit file, incident penalty warnings, all in one tight bundle. I bring it in person. Marcus skims fast, stops, taps the HR admin field with his finger, asks who has access to that role. I tell him HR leadership plus a small handful of system admins. He leans back and says, very calmly, this triggers a restricted audit immediately. I walk out slower than normal because moving fast suddenly feels like it could be framed as guilt out on the floor. I catch Tamsin watching me from across the open office. Our eyes meet for half a second. Then she looks away too fast, like she touched a hot stove. Over the next week, compliance starts pulling access logs. Not just one system, multiple internal tools, quietly, because scandal is expensive and leadership hates surprises. Hollis avoids me now, suddenly in meetings every time I get near him. If I message him, I get short replies hours later. One of them says compliance is reviewing everything. The tone says he hopes it ends before it lands on him. Days crawl by in this tense calm, like waiting for thunder after the air turns heavy. Then an invite hits my calendar. Ethics review, required attendance for key stakeholders. My name is on the list. Dread slams into vindication, and my whole body goes cold and warm at the same time. Ethics review day shows up like court without robes. Walk into the room, and Grant from compliance is already there. He's sitting with an investigator and a little recorder box on the table. Everything suddenly feels heavier because it's being captured. Talia walks in right after. Smile turned up to max. Hands clenched so tight, her knuckles are basically paper white. Grant starts calm. Asks about admin controls on the anonymous reporting portal. Talia says, anonymity protects voices from retaliation. Says it's essential. Grant doesn't argue the concept, just asks a boring question. Who can create, edit, or delete submissions? Talia says only the system can do that. Never HR, never staff, like the portal is a magic box. Grant slides a few pages forward, logs, token IDs, timestamps, asks why her authentication token posted multiple complaints. Talia blinks hard, then says, maybe spoofing, maybe a system error. Investigator asks why the complaint language matches her workshop templates. Talia says those phrases are standard frameworks. Equity work has common language. Grant flips to another page, shows timestamps lining up perfectly with my biggest conflicts, like the same hand hitting a piano key every time I moved. Investigator shifts gears, asks about manual edits on the anonymous safety surveys. Talia says she adjusted harmful responses to protect safety, like she's doing mercy edits for the greater good. Grant doesn't raise his voice, just says it out loud. That's data manipulation, that's misrepresentation. Talia pivots instantly, accuses me of targeting her advocacy, claims I'm threatened by her work. Grant cuts through it. This is falsified records and coercion. Not feelings. Door opens again. Evan, my manager, Gets pulled in. He looks like someone just told him his house is on fire. Little beads of sweat pop up on his forehead. His memory suddenly becomes Swiss cheese. Grant asks him basic stuff. Why he pressured me to comply. Why he told me to stop documenting. Evan stumbles through it, admits he followed guidance, says he was afraid of being labeled, afraid of being seen as unsupportive. Grant asks why he ignored my written risk warnings. Evan just shrugs in slow motion, confesses he didn't want to look like he wasn't on board. Fear was the currency, and it bought managers cheap. Grant ends the meeting with a flat voice. Access restrictions, effective immediately pending conclusions, when we step out into the hallway. Talia leans close and whispers like it's a secret truth. Men always punish women. I don't say anything, because the logs already answered louder than my mouth ever could. Over the next few days, HR channels go weirdly quiet, like someone turned the volume knob down. An interim HR lead appears out of nowhere. New name, new face. Then leadership sends a company-wide email. Talia is no longer employed. It cites ethical policy violations without specifics. Big confidentiality line. They don't want a public mess. Relief hits. But it's hollow, like the stress already soaked into my bones and won't wash out. New policy drops right after. Anonymous reports now require trace validation before action. No more vibes-only escalations. Another policy right under it. On-call windows are protected from meetings. No exceptions. That single sentence should have existed from day one. Next payroll cycle rolls around. My withheld bonus shows up. No apology, no note, just money quietly returned like they're pretending it never happened. Which tells me everything. They waited until they had proof they could point to. Coworkers start talking to me again. Some do awkward apologies. Others act like none of this ever existed. Evan keeps his title, and that stings more than any poster ever did. Grant catches me once in the hallway. Quietly, thanks me for staying factual, says Kara's export was the critical piece, says she'll be protected. I message Kara that she's okay. She sends a thumbs up, nothing else. Weeks pass. Office tension loosens a little at a time, like a fist unclenching slowly. Then a letter shows up at my apartment. Real envelope, real law firm, letterhead. Talia filed a claim. Retaliation, discrimination, she wants settlement money, and a public apology. Old fear comes back sharp and automatic, like my body remembers the drill. I call Grant, ask him straight if I'm about to get dragged back under. Grant says the audit trail is stronger than her story, says her filing triggers disclosure requirements, and that's bad for her, because now the logs aren't optional. He tells me to provide a statement, facts only, dates only, so I do, timeline, emails, tokens, survey edits, penalty warnings, all boring, all clean, not a single sentence about my feelings. After review. Her claim gets withdrawn. Grant tells me her lawyer saw the access logs and advised her to back off. Adds that she could get sanctioned for falsified statements if she keeps pushing. Weaponized safety finally cuts the person holding it. Work slowly returns to normal. Clear replies, measured politeness during incidents, actual urgency when stuff is melting. And I keep the receipts habit anyway, because trust is glass now. One afternoon, I walk past a conference room, see someone left a mug behind, one of those smug designs joking about tears and strength, sitting there like a relic from the bad weeks. I leave it where it is, no victory lap, just not my problem anymore, drive home later. Sunset hits the highway. My breathing slows without me forcing it. Dinner happens, rent gets paid, and for once my phone stays silent, lying in bed that night. I don't think about slogans, I think about logs, I think about accountability, and I make myself one promise, quiet and permanent, never again without it in writing.